we know about kids from hard places? We know they've experienced a lot of trauma and loss of loved ones and relationships. We know they have a hard time connecting to others, controlling their impulses, and controlling their emotions. All of this makes it harder for them in school. Kids who have experienced trauma and loss are more likely to act up in school because they have a hard time regulating their feelings and their impulses, and they also have a hard time paying attention, following directions, or socializing appropriate. And those are things that teachers tend to target when they're handing out suspensions and discipline. Kids in foster care are twice as likely to be suspended from school as their peers, and 3 times more likely to be expelled from schools from their peers. Part of the reason for that is teachers just don't know what's going on with these kids. Many foster kids have to move whenever they change a placement or move to a new house. Up to 30% of high school-aged foster kids have moved schools 5 times by the time they're 18. This means these kids are already disconnected from their school community, their peers, and their teachers. The last thing these kids need is to be yanked out of school where they might be building supportive relationships or have access to people who care about them.
Every kid is one caring adult away from being a success story. Every child who winds up doing well has had at least one stable and committed relationship with a supportive adult.
What's worse is that school suspensions don't actually work. They don't change behavior for the better in the kids who are suspended, and they produce worse test scores in the students who aren't suspended in the same school. Kids who are suspended from school are more likely to be arrested and sent to jail. They're more likely to use drugs later in life. They're more likely to have a negative attitude about school and feel isolated and alienated from their peers. And they're more likely to drop out of school or fail classes. Kids across the country are losing out on valuable opportunities to make connections at school. And what's worse is these suspensions are racially biased. Black kids, and especially black girls, are about 5 times more likely to be suspended than white kids. Virginia has some of the highest rates of out-of-school suspensions in the country, with the majority of suspensions coming from Norfolk and Richmond, but now Roanoke has an increasing number of suspensions too. In the 2017-18 school year, Roanoke reported 2,600 out-of-school suspensions, an increase of 400 from the previous year. In 2019, the Virginia Department of Education adopted a new discipline standard for all schools in the state of Virginia. This new discipline system is called the Virginia Tiered System of Support, or VTSS, and it's based on the Positive Behavioral Intervention and Support System developed by George Sugai and Rob Horner at the University of Oregon. This PBIS system has a broad base of support and evidence that it decreases the number of suspensions that a school gives out, and it also improves student behavior and academic achievement. This system works by creating a tier where supports and resources are divvied up depending on the student's needs. At the bottom level, you have the group that all students are in, which focuses on prevention and building skills. The middle level is just going to include some students, and that has group targets or groups that students can go in to get their needs met. Only at the tippy top do you start to have individualized plans with students, and that's really only supposed to include a few students, 1 to 5% of the school population. The idea is to keep students in the classroom longer and to use less discipline and more prevention and support.
How powerful would our world be if we had kids who were not afraid to take risks, who were not afraid to think, and who had a champion? Every child deserves a champion, an adult who will never give up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists that they become the best that they can possibly be. Is this job tough? You betcha. Oh God, you betcha. But it is not impossible. We can do this. We're educators. We're born to make a difference. Thank you so much.